Yeah, hello and welcome to another live of Sport Intellect. Here I am joined by Jaren and Abel. Hello, guys. Welcome to the preview and the review of yesterday's game. So yesterday we had a game which was actually quite interesting, and GT versus RR. What do you guys think on that? Any points to take away for both the teams? Jaren, on to you.
Interesting. I think SRH is making things even more complicated now in the points table. How much more tangled can it get? So many teams stuck at the same points, and we expected. Things to get better, but obviously, I think GT finally came out on top. Hardik Pandya was all over the place, wasn't he? I think you might as well have had 11 Hardik Pandyas. I think the camera probably missed the trick there. He was just there batting, fielding, bowling. And this is the Hardik Pandya that we know he can do. The kind of potential that we know he has. And it was great to see him play as well as he did. And he carried the team through. Obviously, there was a great performance by Lockie Ferguson as well. But yesterday was definitely Hardik Pandya versus Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Yeah, Abel, on to you.
Yeah, Jen, absolutely spot on
Wait,
there. It
no,
reminds me of
Rajasthan.
one of those.
Again, I was mentioning
Yeah,
Sunrisers.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I think it was Rajasthan. Yeah, that's my bad.
people won't
yeah.
notice it.
People, yeah, it's okay. It happens. At least we don't talk trash like the ones who are sitting in the commentary box. So, take that. Yeah, talking about that, I felt as Hardik Pandya is one of those guys, who's this boy in gully cricket who wants to do everything. He wants to bat, he wants to ball, he wants to field, and he's making an impact as well because people always have criticized Hardik Pandya for all the wrong reasons since that Coffee with Karan show. But then, if you look at him now, a fit Hardik Pandya is as good as anybody in the world. If you take the top all rounders, fast bowling all rounders in the world, you would actually like to fit in Hardik Pandya there because of what he brings into the table as a cricketer. And yesterday you saw that even him batting number four, him having that free approach to go out there and take down the ballers, and he can actually come off. He had a very bad strike rate versus Tehan and Ashwin prior to that game, but then he targeted Ashwin very well as well. He was targeting the right ballers at the right time. For example, he made sure someone like Kuldeep Sen, he never made him settle at all. When he came to ball, he made sure that he took him on, and that was an area where Hardik Pandya showed his game awareness well. He's now much more a mature cricketer, and he's also leading the side. And talking about him on the field, people all had their hearts in the mouth when Hardik Pandya had that cramps injury. Everybody thought not again, not another injury for Hardik Pandya. Now, if you look at fit Hardik Pandya, he brings in all the dimensions into the game. He can ball, he can bat. And moreover, what another thing with Hardik Pandya is also that he's also adding the value of captaincy. You never know. Maybe in a couple of years' time, you'll be looking at a prospective Indian captain in him because he's led the team very beautifully. He's been very aggressive with his mindset, with his tactical calls as well. He's been spot on, and of course, he's got the bowling attack to do it so as well. So, all so far, it's been so good for Hardik Pandya.
Yep. Actually, moving on to Rajasthan's batting, actually, sending Ashwin at number three, was it the right call from Rajasthan Royals?
Uh, I think I think Kumar Sangakkara just believes Ashwin can do anything now. I really don't know. That really perplexed me. I felt at that point in time maybe the possible reasoning for that. Two possible reasons could be one. They sent him up the order to throw the ballers off their mark. But if that is the case, then why not try someone like a Jimmy Neesham or someone like a Riyan Parag? I mean, although their IPL strike rates aren't as good, but you know that they have the potential to take the ballers to the cleaners. You give them that free go in the power play, and you hope that they do well. But Ashwin ended up playing 8 of 8, so I think then that doesn't make sense to me. The other reason probably was to hope that probably was to keep wickets in hand or make sure that the batsmen are not exposed as quickly. But then why would you do that in a chase so steep as what Gujarat Titans had put Rajasthan into? And otherwise, also, why won't you, trust someone like your batsman coming or someone like Rassi Van Anderson could have done that job splendidly? And Ashwin ended up playing 8 of 8. So if someone is only coming out to play 8 balls, I think both of those tactics do not work. And maybe that is exactly where Rajasthan lost their flow because they were in a good frame of mind. They were attacking. Gujarat Titans bowlers were in a bit of a back foot, even though Hardik Pandya did not relent. But if a different batsman had come, things could have ended up differently.
Right.
We will.
Uh, yeah, I also thought the same thing. I couldn't possibly find a reason as to why did they send Ashwin at number three. If that was a just a question of just him batting out the overs and saving Josh Butler's wicket. I don't think that was the right idea in a chase like 190. But talking about what Ashwin's the intent of sending another batsman was good. Maybe it was just to take on the spinners like Rashid Khan or someone. Definitely a good intent, but yes, it did not come out. And when it does not come out, of course, you will blame the captain, you will blame the strategic call of Sangakkara as well. But then I'm just confused as to what is Riyan Parag then doing in the team. Riyan Parag is such a good player. Him batting he always bats a number 3 or 4 for Assam, and he's been doing such a good job for Assam batting in that position as well. He's more often than not saved the team from trouble when he bats there, because Assam do not have a lot of good players as well. So he's been their main player in Assam, and he walks into a situation like 10 for 2, 5 for 1, and he takes the team through as well more often than not. And yesterday was a perfect situation for someone like Riyan Parag to be tested. Send him at number 3, give him the confidence in go out there, play your shots. You have possibly 15 overs to go out there and show what you got. And that's why you again question that lad, because you say that he has not performed enough. But if you're not giving him a correct clarity as to where is he going to be batting, how is he going
Yeah.
to perform? If you look at all the players who's done well in IPL, they've all done well because there's a clear clarity what they have provided them. He's just a 20-year-old player. You cannot expect him to have that kind of a maturity of Mahendra Singh Dhoni or Rishabh
Mm.
Pant or Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma. He's still in a growing age. Some players come off, someone like an Ayush Badoni will come off and people will be like, oh wow, see, he's so young, he has come off. But then he's not going to come off every game. You'll have failures, and on his failures, you should not get after him and saying that, see, you have failed miserably. Now, what are you going to do in the next match? Because batting in those positions are so tough. Even the best of batsmen have failed more often than not. That's where I feel someone like Riyan Parag should be treated rightfully. And even in the last match, I felt Riyan Parag should have been the batsman who should have walked in at number 6, not Ashwin. Even yesterday, I felt Riyan Parag should have walked in at number 3 if they really want to make Sanju bat at number 3. And I still don't understand why they have dropped someone like a Yashasvi Jaiswal after just a couple of games.
Yeah.
They've backed this lad, they've retained him. They just have had that feeling that he's possibly going to be one of the mainstay openers going into this season. And what they've done is exactly what they shouldn't be doing with a youngster like Yashasvi Jaiswal, because his confidence will be now in disarray just going into the tournament, where he might be feeling that, okay, now what should I be doing next? I've been dropped out of the squad. There's someone like a Devdutt Padikkal who they're backing, who's there's an interesting story. Devdutt Padikkal and Yashasvi Jaiswal were opening the batting alongside Anuj Rawat in 2020 for the Under 19 World Cup. And Devdutt Padikkal had a couple of bad matches. He and Yashasvi Jaiswal took on his position, and Devdutt Padikkal got dropped out of the Under 19 World Cup. The full circle now. Yashasvi Jaiswal had a couple of bad games. Now the player who they're backing is Devdutt Padikkal in the same team. So I hope it is not done like that. People can sit and say karma, hit back, but nothing to do with SSVJ or Devdutt Padikkal. It's not their mistake. It's just that that's been a situation pointed out, and then they possibly prefer Devdutt Padikkal. And also talking about Devdutt Padikkal, he's not looked in best of touches if you look at this tournament at large.
Mm.
Firstly, same thing. There is no role clarity given to him. At the start of the tournament, you're like, okay, go out there, bat a number 4, Devdutt Padikkal. Bat a number 3, Devdutt Padikkal. We're not looking to make you open the batting. Now, all of a sudden, Yashasvi Jaiswal is dropped. You want him to open the batting. You want him to bat as a second fiddle to Butler. But of course, when a Butler is playing, you can only be a second fiddle to him. You can never take the charge, because that's a rate at which Butler plays as well. So there's still a lot of lack of clarity in terms of what they're doing. The Rajasthan Royals, they're definitely a good team. They've got a lot of potential. They have a lot of potential in their players. They have a good squad depth as well. But just hope they give the clarity to their players, so it can be much more easier.
Yep, and actually, SRH have actually won the toss and decided to bowl first. Let's move on to the next game. Aaron Finch and Aman Khan are making their debuts. Debuts.
Absolutely. Uh,
So,
I'm pretty surprised. Jeremy,
huh?
I'm going to take one.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I'm
mean,
pretty surprised.
uh, Aaron Finch, 9 franchise. This is the ninth franchise that he's playing for. He's played for more franchises than franchises that have won the trophies. Or, I mean, it's just amazing how his IPL career has been. From one franchise to another. He's actually a very good T20 player, but he hasn't exactly lit. And has not exactly lit IPL on fire. But interesting to see how he's gonna go, because uh, Kolkata struggled with their opening. Venkatesh Iyer hasn't looked like the Venkatesh Iyer of the past season. It's the second season. It is obviously the toughest season, because it's a season when teams look at you, when the analysts look at you, and when they look at you much more closely, want to find out your weaknesses. And he's not had a good season. And Ajinkya Rahane has just been disappointing, really. And At a strike rate of 99, the opening partnership has been terrible. It's been the lowest, slowest opening partnership in all 10, all 10 teams. So they're struggling a lot, and Aaron Finch probably is going to be interesting to see how he fits in there. He could be someone who could bring that impetus, to the bowling team. Gonna be interesting to see how Bhuvneshwar Kumar goes against him, because Bhuvneshwar loves him. You've seen him set him up so many times with the away, 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 and then the one that comes in, just pinning him on the stumps. It's gonna be interesting to see how this goes on.
Yep, Abel, on to you.
Yeah, I also feel the same things with Aaron Finch. I'm a little shocked that why is Aaron Finch getting a nod ahead, because I thought Sheldon Jackson could have been the best possible opening option for them, and which means is Sam Billings dropped.
I think so, yeah.
Sam Billings dropping
Correct,
Sam
correct.
Billings is not
Sam
just.
Billings is dropped and Sheldon Jackson's in as a wicketkeeper for them.
Yeah, I thought that shouldn't have been done. Sheldon Jackson should have been into the team by also retaining Sam Billings' spot, because Sam Billings hasn't done anything wrong. If you look at the matches he has played, he's looked good. He has looked good in good shape more often than not. And just dropping Sam Billings is also not a good idea, because in the middle, all of a sudden you're gonna have a Russell, you're gonna have a Sheldon Jackson who's not the best of middle order batsman, but he has done well always batting at number 1, 2, or 3, and you're putting him at number 5, number 6. He possibly is not your game changer. And Nitish Ran has yet to lit up the IPL like he's known to do it. So that's why I feel Sam Bling should have retained this place. But I'm really looking forward to see how Aaron Finch goes about. So far in IPL, he has got that weakness. Even for Australia, people are now questioning his position in the team. He's a captain of his side, of course. He's won them a T20 World Cup, but just considering his form, he's not had a good BBL at all. He's had a very poor run with Australian T20 setup as well. So I'm pretty shocked to see him even play in IPL and get a nod ahead. Of course, there would have been a reason why he's in the team. Maybe it's just probably the leadership qualities what he brings into the fore, or possibly it could be anything what he is going to bring in. And of course, you have seen the best of Aaron Finch has always been when he just goes out there and plays shots. You've seen him take on some of the best bowling lineups in the world over the years. But in Indian conditions, and especially like in swing bowling, now people know that he has got a serious weakness against balls coming into him, and also against quality leg spin as well. But uh, but I'm not having a clear idea as to why he has been preferred. But they could have, I felt his replacement sort of Alex Hales could have been someone like a Paul Sterling, who has done really well in these
Yeah, I
conditions as
mean,
well. He's
true.
had a good run in Asian conditions. He's so underrated. Probably I don't know if it's a fitness
Mhm.
issue what goes against him, but even Aaron Finch is also of the similar category. I don't think then if you're weighing both on the same category, they should have gone for someone else as well. But now looking at it, I really hope that he has a good game, and also looking to see how Venkatesh Iyer also performs under a new opening partner. I think having someone experienced like Aaron Finch in T20 format will help Venkatesh Iyer also. He'll also be much more calm down. He'll also be having a better picture as to how he should be going about it. Last year when Shubman Gill was there, he looked much more calmer. This time he just felt like he should be taking the attack on, and
Yeah.
Ajinkya Rahane is going to play the second fiddle. I think now having someone like Aaron Finch will make him have a better clarity as to how he should be going about.
Don't you think actually Sam Billings could actually open the innings and actually put Sheldon Jackson back into Sam Billings' role? Isn't that could have been possible? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what even I was considering. I mean, Sam Billings has had an issue when it comes to. I mean, he hasn't been the kind of consistent player that KKR hoped he would be. But I think probably the issue with that is he's always come in at a time when KKR needed a push, needed to just run behind the run rate, or they needed to score a little bit heavier, and that's probably where he perished. I felt if you make him open, he could have done a better job. Even Sheldon Jackson could be a good replacement for Ajinkya Rahane as well. I think they just aren't looking at him as an opener for some reason, which is beyond me to be very honest. Where I feel someone like him who's attacking enough, you give him that, give him the time. Maybe he can be a better player than some bringing him probably 3 down or 4 down when they are in trouble. So I mean, I don't know. I think this team again is sort of slipping into the previous the last team that they had, where there's a bit of lack of clarity when it comes to their batting roles.
Yep. And actually, don't you guys think as Shreyas Iyer versus Bhuvneshwar Kumar could be a matchup? You know, he has Shreyas Iyer has actually just hit him for 41 runs, but he Bhuvneshwar in 48 balls. So he's striking below 100 with Bhuvneshwar Kumar. So, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar versus Aaron Finch, Bhuvneshwar Kumar versus Shreyas Iyer. I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar is going to hold the key today, especially against the Knight Riders top order. And if you look at their middle order as well, it's a little jerky. Knight Riders, people have been talking about their bowling. They've done so far because of their, they've done so well because of their bowling, because they had someone like Sheldon Jackson who has done decently well. No, not Sheldon Jackson. I'm sorry, Andre Russell has done decently well. Umesh Yadav has done decently well. And also talking about their two spinners, they rely so much on their bowling. Now, if you talk about the batting, all of a sudden they will be exposed on a bad day. If they're going to be three down for not much, their lower middle order is going to be exposed more often than not. So I reckon KKR is still not a side who have found their balance. I thought bringing in someone like Sheldon Jackson up top could have possibly fixed that. Then you have someone like a Sam Billings to also weather the storm on a bad day if it's 10 for 3, on a bad day if it's 20 for 5, 20 for 3, sorry. On those days, Sam Billings have got that experience to possibly weather the storm and also take the team to a formidable total. That's the kind of experience what Sam Billings brings into any team, whichever team he walks in. And I don't know, I'm not really confident about Sheldon Jackson till now, but he's a definitely a very good wicket keeper. He's a much better keeper than Sam Billings. That's one thing I can assure you about, because you've seen him in the first match. Well, he made all the noise just by doing his wicket keeping skills. And when a wicket keeper does that, you know that he's such a good keeper behind. And his glove work was one of the best I've seen in this IPL so far. There's no doubt about that. But in IPL and T20 formats, you need your keeper to be doing a lot more with the bat as well. That's where I feel Sheldon Jackson slightly falls short. But nonetheless, he's my overseas player who I'll bank on.
Yep. What are your predictions today, guys? Jaren, on to you.
I think it's going to be not very easy to say because the fact that both the teams are coming off a bit of a dry run, and uh, I think I would say KKR have an upper hand just given by the fact that they are a team which has looked better than Sunrisers. Sunrisers have a lot of worries, and especially for the fact that they don't even have Washington Sundar today, who's been really influential for them in the bowling attack. I would rate KKR higher. I think KKR has a better chance, and probably they are the ones who are gonna get those 2 points home today. I mean, it's gonna be tough for me to say that against Sunrisers because they've looked a lot better than they were, but I think KKR slightly for me.
Yep, and a few important matchups as well. So you can't actually, prediction is a very tough thing actually.
Mm.
Able on to you.
I think someone like Rahul Tripati and Abhishek Sharma will have the job of weathering the spin attack. They cannot play out those 8 overs between Sunil Narayan and Varun Chakravarti. The moment whatever team tries to play them out, what happens is that then KKR is on top of the game. And KKR have won most of the games because of opposition team trying to do that. Because in 8 overs in T20 cricket is a long time, right? And if 4 overs is still fine, 4 overs, 25 runs is still fine. But 8 overs adding another ball into the four, it could be really tough. So I think Rahul Tripathi and Abhishek Sharma, they're really good players of spin, and I expect them to play. I expect them to take the attack to Varun Chakravarti and also to Sunil Narayan, considering their domestic experience, considering their potency with spin as well. And also, Kane Williamson has had a good record with Sunil Narayan. He's not been dismissed by Sunil Narayan as of now. And I think one of the threats is going to be Varun Chakravarti against Sunrisers Hyderabad. If they get these two spinners away for close to 60, 70 runs, then I'm pretty sure that the rest 12 overs they can actually manage. And it's also important for Kane Williamson and Abhishek Sharma to make sure they don't give away the new ball wickets to Umesh Yadav, who's been so good in doing that. I'm going to give the edge to Sunrisers Hyderabad today. Just considering their recent form, they've been back to their old formula of restricting teams to 160, 170 and chasing it down quite comfortably. I feel that's when Sunrisers Hyderabad looked very good. The moment they restrict the team to 160 or 170, they just feel like, okay, this is our forte. We have been here, we've been doing this over the years. This is where we are really good at. Just chase down any score, take their own time. They might not be the most flashiest of the teams who will chase down a 116, 15 overs, 16 overs. They'll take their own time, but then they'll definitely chase it down. And also, they're relying on the Indian bowling attack as well. Of course, missing out someone like a Washington Sundar is going to be a massive blow. But then I feel Jagadish Shrutich is not a mug with the bat or with the ball. He's definitely a good bowler, and also he brings in a lot more ability with the bat as well. I feel he's a much better batsman than Washington Sundar in T20 cricket. If you guys remember the game which he had played against Delhi Capitals last year, which went to super over between Sunrisers Hyderabad and Delhi Capitals. It was Jagadish Shrutich who took them to the super over, where smashed Rabada for a couple of sixers, and I think in Super Over it was eventually won by Delhi Capitals. But then, yeah, this is what he can also bring into the fold. Someone like a Jagadish and Suchit, and he's got a lot of experience playing for Karnataka, playing in domestic cricket as well. I hope that's going to help Kolkata Knight Riders a big way. And if you look, other than Venkatesh Iyer, they do not have a lot of left-handers in their lineup as well. Kolkata Knight Riders. I'll take Nitish Rana as another left-hander. So I think bowling to majorly a lot of right-handers will also help someone like Jagadish and Suchit up front. But someone like Shreyas Iyer, Venkatesh Iyer, and also Nitish Rana play spin really well. So that's going to be a challenge which he's going to face.
I think,
Yep.
probably the reason why I gave a little bit more edge to Kolkata is the reason that toss has been won and Sunrisers are batting second. And I don't really trust their batting as much. The fact that none of the batsmen haven't been getting going as quickly as possible. So if you have an average chase of maybe a 180, 185, you might see Sunrisers buckle under the pressure because Kolkata, especially the spinners, combined they have an economy of 6.07. That is massive in a T20. It is like 8 overs, you're only scoring 48 runs. That is not at all. I mean, 8 overs just scoring 48 is very bad because then all of a sudden, if you're looking for a 180, then you need to score 142 of the next 12 overs. You see the required run rate creeping up all of a sudden. That's it's not something that I don't expect this team to have as well. I was just going over the numbers and I realized that even though Kane Williamson never been dismissed by Sunil Narayan, his strike rate is only 85. So you might suddenly see that them squeezing the life out of Sunrisers. But I think the only way Sunrisers can go out of here is the way that Delhi went. The reason why Delhi did so well against Kolkata was because they went after Umesh Yadav. Prithvi Shaw completely negated the swing of Umesh Yadav, and Pat Cummins is very expensive in that match. So these two bowlers, if you can put them out of their lines, then they don't seem to have an answer. And obviously, given the fact that someone like an Andhra Russell is not bowling a lot, you suddenly see this KKR team. Maybe the only way you can negate this team is do that.
Yep. So, do you guys think Bhuvneshwar Kumar is going to have a really good game today because he's got quite a few matchups in today, and Finch coming back and he's quite made him a bunny actually. He's actually made
Yeah.
Finch a bunny. Finch struggling with the swing ball of the new ball bowling of Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Maybe we can see that here in this game. Abel.
I personally think so. My impact player of the game is going to be Bhuvneshwar Kumar, considering the matchups, of course. And if he can get possibly their top order away, all of a sudden KKR will look very vulnerable as well. I am going to repeat this again. KKR's top order is still a worry. I'm not sure if Finch is going to solidify it or possibly neutralize that. But considering the matchup which Bhuvneshwar Kumar brings and the kind of skills he brings into the game, I think Bhuvneshwar Kumar is going to be my impact player of the game. If he can pick up a couple of wickets or 3 wickets in the power play, then the match is wide open. Then from there on, it's going to be Sunrisers Hyderabad, who's going to be on the front foot, controlling the game.
Yep. Jaren, you there? If you want to answer that. Okay. You lost Jaren there.
And then we lost Jaren there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I personally feel as well. Because just to if Jaren is also not another player who I'll give a lot of edge to is Shreyas Iyer. He's looked good in the last match as well. If he can also come back and if he can play the kind of knock which he played against Jelly Capitals for some time, he'll all of a sudden also be a good contender for being an impact player of the game.
What do you think about Rahul Tripati? He could be the one who can actually take on the spinners. Actually, he plays the middle overs quite well, and
Right.
maybe take on the spinners of KKR. There's 8 overs. Maybe he can overcome that for SRH.
Yeah, I think Rahul Tripati is going to be a major factor, especially in this game as well. If you look, I also mentioned before that Rahul Tripati and Abhishek Sharma is going to play a huge role today. But considering their domestic experience and considering how they have gone about, Rahul Tripati is going to be up against his former team, so he will have a point to prove as well. And his skills of playing spin is really good. He has taken on some good spinners through the course of this tournament, so I'm expecting nothing less from him. If he can take on someone like a Sunil Narayan or a Varun Chakravarti, it's going to help Sunrisers Hyderabad a long way going into this match.
Coming back to the question that Frankie asked, I think Rahul Tripathi is probably the most important person here because he knows these ballers, he's faced them in the net, and he's an excellent player of spin. He's been the only one who's taking the attack to the ballers of the opposition team in the Sunrisers lineup. Everyone else has taken their time. Rahul Tripati just hit the ground running. I think he's had a slight niggle in the past game. Maybe it might be a concern that might come up in a longer tournament. But aside from that, in this match especially, is going to be very important. And I really feel maybe somewhere, someplace, if he opens the batting, I know we have been saying this a lot, and there has been a counter argument that Kane Williamson might not be as effective in number three, but if he opens the batting, you might get a little bit more out of him. But again, it all depends on their tactics and how they want to, maximize Rahul Tripathi or maybe keep him as a fail safe for Kane Williamson.
Yeah. Is that all for today, guys? Do you guys want to add something?
I mean, that's it. I mean,
I
I'm
think
just
that's
wait.
pretty much it. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of this match as well, so I'm not excited about it. So I
Same.
hope.
I think we are missing a bit of enthusiasm that probably Sandivani would have brought in with the fact that
Yeah,
it's
because
been
it's his team. Of
it's
course,
his team, and this is
yeah,
a team we are both indifferent to. So I think makes sense by
absolutely. Because I've never been a huge fan of either of the teams. But yeah,
I mean,
I like Sunrisers Hyderabad doing well as well. I like their captain. I like the way how they play their cricket. They rely a lot on domestic bowlers. Going ahead, I would like to see only one thing. I would like to see Karthik Tyagi possibly making a cut into this team. If he's not making a cut, just transfer him to Mumbai Indians or something, guys. Don't keep him and just make him warm the bench.
Mumbai or CSK desperately need him at this point, and just unfortunate he's playing in a team which has too many fast bowlers.
True.
Yeah. So I guess that's it for today, guys. Thanks for joining in. If any of you joined in,
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
thank you guys for watching.